Guys, join us on the Goodyear Hotline. Alan Hahn with Key this morning. And tonight we have Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Woo-woo! Game 3 was a 20-point win by the Bucks, and an important one, obviously, to keep this thing going. Now, of course, they can make this thing a real series, get the win tonight, hold serve at home, and then we get that best of 3 that we talk about with home court seeming like it's been the most important factor so far in this series. But, Key, I'm looking at tonight's game, and I feel like this is the Devin Booker game, in my opinion. And I say this because while Giannis has been a story with 40 points in the last 2 games, Ayton has been a great story in the first 2 games. Chris Paul is a story because of him trying to win his first championship after 16 seasons.
So this is a rebound for Devin Booker.
But this is with Devin Booker because Devin Booker, as we know, he's had a terrific postseason. But in the finals, he's shooting under 40%.
Yeah, he struggled a
and
little
he
bit
is
in the finals.
he is absolutely struggling. The last game was terrible with the shooting, and he knows it. He's well aware of it. But the criticism that we do come up with certain players and certain coaches, all right? So Mike Budenholzer has always been, throughout these playoffs and even in the years leading up to this year, he's been a guy that we have really always looked at and said, oh, when is Bud going to make adjustment? Right, I couldn't think of the word, adjustment. And, I mean, I've been critical as well, saying he's not really making adjustments in these series. Teams are getting injuries, key injuries, whether it's Kyrie's injury, obviously whether Trae Young's injury, that has been a factor. But one thing that I will say is that Mike Budenholzer has been consistent. And as an athlete, don't you want that from your coach?
You always
this is who you are. This is who you always are.
Absolutely, because you want the truth. You have problems with coaches when they go back and forth, they waver, they don't take a stand.
Yeah.
They're different. And you can see that after a while. You certainly notice them, and you're like, man, come on, man, this dude,
right,
like, he don't belong. If you stay, that's one thing that I've always respected in my coaches that I've had that I enjoy playing for, is everything was, this is what it is, it's straight. Not this 1 minute here, 1 minute there. Like, no.
Yeah, one day I'm at 10, the next day I'm at 5.
No,
like,
this is who I
you?
am.
Yeah.
Coach Dungy is Coach Dungy. Parcells is Parcells. Foxy was Foxy. And so I knew this is who I'm getting.
Yep.
Like John Robinson, I knew this is what I'm getting every single day. It's very difficult in anything. In your personal life, if you come home and your wife is one way one day and another, it's like, you know what, man, never mind. It's
right.
just,
I never know what I'm getting. Right.
No,
right.
I don't want to be in that.
Especially as an athlete, especially when you get this far in the play, I want to know I know what I'm getting from Mike Budenholzer, and that is consistency.
Because
his
it's
personality.
authentic. If Mike Budenholzer walks in and all of a sudden he's
yeah,
slamming the board, and like, man, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, what you doing?
You're not
dog?
buying that.
Like, stop.
And we've, and again, like I said, I fall for that a lot too. Where there was a one game where actually the 2 games they got blown out by Brooklyn. And we were kind of playing his audio afterwards, and he's like, well, we just got to stay consistent.
And what did I say, though? I was like,
I need more, and you said no. You said that's who he is.
That's who he is. You're not going to change that.
All right, so with that in mind, that on top of the whole adjustments conversation we've had, and Devin Booker being locked down in Game 3, it's this thought of, okay, well, Mike Budenholzer, as the question was asked of him, what adjustments did you make from Game 2 to Game 3, and is there anything you need to do from Game 3 to Game 4? And one thing I know you said was, don't change a thing. Right? Don't reinvent the wheel. Do the same thing.
Why would you change anything, Allen? If Drew Holiday is locking down Devin Booker and switching on Chris Paul when he needs to, and making Chris Paul not go to the elbow, and taking bad shots or bad adjustments, and then all of a sudden he's in Devin Booker's head, and Devin Booker's 3 for 14 and 10 points and giving less than that type of performance, why would you change anything? If bully ball, big shoulders is coming down and I'm shooting everything in the paint and I'm dominating Crowder on the perimeter and I'm dunking the ball and I'm not shooting threes, why change anything? If Chris Middleton is closing it out with the last 5-6 minutes of a game and he's hitting his threes and why change anything? Why all of a sudden go in and overthink just because you got 48 hours to figure something out?
Well, we know this is a huge game, though. You win this game, now you really have a series.
What are you adjusting?
Lose this game and you're
But what are you adjusting? If your salmon is perfect, right down the middle, and it's not slimy and undercooked, and it's just perfect, and you cooked it at 375 for 25 minutes and it came out, why in the hell would you turn up the heat to try to cook it any faster.
Well, I mean, I don't know how to adjust on the whole salmon thing, but I can tell you that I know.
Why?
I would know the Phoenix Suns have probably had 2 days to watch film and make their adjustments. But
okay, you adjust to us. We don't need to adjust to you.
Okay.
Coaches get in trouble doing that in all sports, playing that game.
Which is why
I'm smarter than you.
Yes, you are. It's also
no. I'm saying coaches think that they're smarter than.
No, I
get
not
I'm
that
smarter.
I
than
get
you.
that part too. But that's exactly what Mike Budenholzer is saying. Is that there's nothing really to change. We just have to stay the same. And for a while, I kept saying, "Man, this is boring. Why is he like this?" But now I think it's starting to make sense. Take a listen to Coach Bud.
You know, I would say it's more the same game plan. You know, maybe some subtle things around the edge, but I think the communication, the effort, you know, kind of just the commitment to it. You know, there's some things we do just night in, night out that, you know, go to being a good defensive team, you know, getting back in transition. That's not a game plan. You just got to do it. You know, keeping people out the free throw line. It's not a game plan. You got to do it. And then, you know, there are some smaller things that hopefully we can get better and improve as we move forward. But, you know, I think it's more the subtle and just the commitment, the effort, the communication, all those things are, you know, we're high level the other day and we got to do it again and really do it even at a higher level going into the fourth game.
Key, is it that simple? Like, 'cause I guess when I talk about adjustments, everybody talks about adjustments. He's saying it's not a game plan. We have our game plan.
Yeah.
You just have to execute it better. And some nights that doesn't happen.
That is correct.
Is it really as simple as that?
It's cleaning up the little things. Like you said, we got some small things here and there, some tweaks. But what he's saying is you got to clean up those small things. You got to make those smaller things that's kind of, you know, whether it's getting back fast enough. Now you just got to look at that and you go, when you watch a film, you go, if you would have gone at 8 instead of at 3, you see where you would have closed at?
Yeah.
Or if you would have not hesitated and just went. Like when I watch film with my son and I try to teach my son something about basketball, and I tell him, I said, you see, you saw it, but you didn't go get it. You see it. I'm looking at your body, and I'm watching you get ready to go, but you didn't go. Mm-hmm. And that's the sort of stuff that you need to make adjustments on when you're watching film. You know, you see it in the NFL. When I was in the NFL, one of the things everybody talks about is, oh, my God, they're going to change their game plan. It's the same damn game plan. They're not changing what they started in July in training camp in November. It's the same playbook. It's the same plays. It's just crisp and better and clean.
That's a part of coaching too, I will say, just quickly here. Is while, okay, so maybe the adjustment thing gets blown out of proportion by idiots like me.
Well, Van Gundy, Jeff, our colleague, said that about you the other night.
Took it very personal.
Yeah.
But I did feel like Jeff was talking right to me.
He was talking to you and the rest of the people that follow you.
But coaches, I guess then if it's less about, well, they have to make adjustments, maybe it's more about the team adjusting to playing hard. You got to play harder. You got to do it better. And if you can reach your team in executing better, like you said, crisper, then I guess that's also a big part of
effort
coaching.
Plays, man.
Yeah, well, we got the finals again coming back tonight. NBA finals are on ESPN Radio. You can tune in tonight. Game 4, Bucks host the Suns. It's presented by Indeed. Coverage begins 8 p.m. Eastern on most ESPN radio stations. So coming up, one person says Aaron Rodgers does not want to be back in Green Bay, but he's not so sure that that's true anymore. Did he change his tune? We'll explain next. KJZ, ESPN Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 80, and the ESPN app. You're wrong if you're Aaron Rodgers. You're wrong if you're the Packers for how you fat-handed this whole thing from the very beginning. I am mad at everybody in this situation. There is no right or wrong here. Everybody's wrong.
This is Keyshawn